Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here coming live from Mesa, Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling start to your Shake It Up Saturday. Mine is already full of squirrels and shiny objects. So it's got a bit of a shake up start. Got up, we went out for our walk, came back, and I thought, oh, I can get on and I can do my live now. Well, I sat down here at my desk. I had the family group record pages sitting here in front of me with what I was going to be researching today. Um, and it's kind of fun because today, if I can find, because today I get to finish looking for the other, how many have I got now? I've got 4 great-great-grandparents for this person I'm doing research for. Now I'm going to find the other 12 today, and then I can concentrate on the historic figure that they may or may not be related to and figuring out if there is a connection. But of course, I sat down. What's sitting in front of me is a family group sheet for the historic figure, which I had just filled out really quickly so that if I came across any of those names on the research with the great-great-grandparents, then I would have that connection there and I would already have the information in front of me. Well, I sat down here. The family record sheet for the historic figure is sitting in front of me. I open my computer, it opens up straight away to the family tree for the historic figure, and I'm like, oh, I just thought of something. And off I go researching. That was almost an hour ago, so I apologize for not being on sooner, but shiny objects and squirrels and mixed it with genealogy and I'm screwed. But today is going to be about doing more family tree research for this client and figuring out if maybe there is a connection to her historic figure. And I just broke a piece of the puzzle open that was bugging me last night, and I'm busy looking at today and doing some more research. And all of a sudden, it dawned on me how a person who I couldn't figure out how they fitted into the historic figure's tree now fits in. So yeah, I'm trying not to give stuff away. So you got the dad, you got the father of the family of the historic figure, and in his obituary it mentioned that he had the name of a grandson, and I'm like, well, hang on, nothing I have. He only had one daughter, and that was not her last name, and she got married twice, and neither of those were her last name. And so I was trying to figure it out. And then it turned out that his second wife, because he was married twice, because his first wife passed away, but his second wife had also been married as well and had children from her first marriage, and one of them had the same last, and one of their children married somebody, and his second wife's daughter married somebody with the same last name as was claimed as being the grandson of the thing. So I'm sort of like, okay, now I finally got that piece of the puzzle. Yay! And that probably just totally confused everybody because it just confused myself in my mind. Basically, historical figure's father married a woman who already had children from her first marriage, because her husband died, his wife died, they got together. Her daughter had a son, got married and had a son, and that was the grandson that was being claimed in the father's obituary. So it's like, yes. So I was writing all of that down. All came clear. Oh, now I've got to go add in the first husband to the second wife. And then I said, and Zeffie jumped up next to me and kind of just like leaned on me. And so I got a little sidetracked with her. And when I looked up at the time, I went, oh, got to go do my live. I got on here to do my live. So yes, that was an hour distraction. So I'm going to have to set timers today. Otherwise, I will end up sitting here all day and not having anything to eat because I still haven't had breakfast. I was going to have breakfast. And I thought, let me do my live first, and then I'll go and have breakfast. So my day's off to a super fantastic sparkling start. I am loving today because all my other projects are off my plate. They are all done. They are all completed. And this is the only project I have on my plate. And because it's such a huge passion, I will spend hours looking at this thing. It is, but I have to remember to stop and eat, to stop and take breaks, to refill my water bottle, which is still sitting on the counter over there where I filled it up. Because I was just going to sit down here, do my Facebook Live, go get my breakfast, bring it back over here, have breakfast, go do the dishes, come back, sit down, do family tree. That was the plan. But as is typical with me, especially on Shake It Up Saturdays, nothing ever goes according to plan. And that's what I love about Shake It Up Saturdays. It's because you don't have that confines of the business as much as you do during the week. Because most people try to take the weekend off or do as little as possible when it comes to work over the week, which is a good thing to do. My work week, I try to keep my work week Monday through Friday. Yes, I will do genealogy on Saturday. Yes, it is a business of mine, but it has also been a passion of mine for over 30 years. In fact, I was thinking the other day, I thought I'm going to be 54 next month, and I got interested in genealogy when I was like 11 or 12. So we're talking over 40 years. So I was like, dang. That realization was sort of like, woo. So yes, I've been involved with this nearly all my life. Nearly all my life I've been involved with this. But I've always been involved with connections and things because as growing up as a child, we were always around our elders, our relatives, grandparents, great uncles, and great grandparents. I was fortunate enough that I had great grandparents in my life until I was about 11, and I got to meet siblings of my grandparents, and I also got to meet siblings of my great grandparents. And so I have my great aunts and uncles. I grew up around my great aunts and uncles. I grew up around my great great aunts and uncles. And what I did, and when I was looking back, I suddenly thought, well, I've had this fantastic life, this incredible blessing where I've gotten to know the elders of my families of different generations. And I always love sitting with the older generations and just hearing their stories. I love that. And it's something that was bred into me as a kid. And when I got to meet my great uncle Ollie, it was sort of like, well, who is he? And so I got to explain how he was connected to the family, whose sibling he was, how that sibling was, how that person fitted into the tree. So I guess my genealogy actually started, without actually realizing it, started early on in life because I was wanting to know, well, because I knew my aunts and uncles were siblings of my parents, but now I had these great aunts and uncles and these great great aunts and uncles. How the heck did they fit into the tree? And we used to go visit my dad's aunt frequently. We visited my mum's aunt frequently. And so we had these great aunts and uncles I used to visit frequently. But so, well, how do they fit in? Well, that was granddad's sister, or that's grandma's sister, or that's Nana's. That was Nana's sister, or this is Papa's sister. So I got to go, oh, okay. So, and then I got told that they were a great aunt and uncle because my aunt and uncles are my parents' siblings. And so I was I don't think my parents realized this, but they were kind of explaining genealogy to me at an early age. And then I got to meet all these cousins, and I'm sort of like, well, which, and trying to figure out the whole cousin thing. At that time, I did not know the term removed. I did not know that for cousins removed. And basically, a cousin removed is you have your first cousins, which are your parents' siblings' children. So your aunt and uncle have kids, they are your first cousins. If your first cousin has a child, then that is your first cousin once removed. It is one generation removed from your level. So it's based on how many generations separate. So if your first cousin has grandchildren, they are your first cousin twice removed because there's now 2 generations between them. The first time I ever heard, and I always crack up at this story because it makes me laugh because I have to admit I used to watch the Dukes of Hazzard. I loved the Dukes of Hazzard when I was a teenager. Loved that show. Not so much the movie that came on later on with the different people in it. I don't even remember who was in the later one, but I wasn't very impressed with that one. I like the classic Dukes of Hazzard. But anyway, so I was watching the Dukes of Hazzard one night, and Uncle Jesse tells Luke and Bo that they've got a cousin coming in. They had a 5th cousin 4 times removed or something like that coming to visit them. And I'm like, removed? And this is the first time I had heard that removed terminology with relations to a cousin. And I was like, removed? I thought, man, they must have been they've been kicked out of the family 4 times? And they've been let back in each time? Man, they must have been really bad to being kicked out of the family. Not knowing what the genealogy term removed meant at the time. So this was my teenage brain processing stuff. I was just learning about genealogy at that point, and had never heard the term removed. It wasn't 2 years later that the removed term, I actually learned what it meant. It was how many generations are you removed from that common generation. So first cousin, and both first cousins have kids. They are now second. The kids are second cousins to each other. But the first cousin to the second cousin is first cousin once removed. Hope that clears it up. But anyway, again, squirrels and shiny objects. Had no intention of talking about that today, but it got talked about. There was somebody on the Genealogy Roadshow, was it yesterday or the day before? Who was the historic figure? There was a historic figure they were related to, and they were like 10th cousins 5 times removed. Or something, or was it fifth cousins 10 times removed. So they had that fifth cousin in common. So the fifth cousins were in common, and then this person was 10 generations below where that fifth cousin line was. So it was interesting. So so learning that removal term opened up a whole new world to me. It wasn't how many times somebody's kicked out of a family and let back in again. It's how many generations they are removed from the common. It actually starts with a common grandparent. So if you have grandparents in common, you are first cousins. If you have great grandparents in common, you are second cousins. If you have great great grandparents in common, you are third cousins. So, and this is where it comes back to who is that singular point of contact. So yes, grandparent, if you've got grandparents in common, you're also going to have the great grandparents and the great great great. But it's where is that singular point of contact in the tree. So if you're going up the tree and your grandparent is different to their grandparent, but you have the same great grandparent, then you are second cousins. I actually might draw that out one day. I have a little mini whiteboard. Maybe I'll pull that out one day and actually draw it, or maybe I'll do a PowerPoint presentation on it. I don't know. I better write that one down. PPT removal. Okay. All right, got that note down. So I'm off to enjoy the rest of my Shake It Up Saturday. What are you doing today to shake up your Saturday? Doing something that is completely out of the ordinary, that you don't typically do, because that is what we want to know about. So go shake up your Saturday, do something completely different to what you normally do, break up your normal routine, go do something different. I'm sure during all of this time with people being quarantined and everything else, that is something different. But, you've probably been quarantined for several weeks, or like me, I basically have no interaction with people except for people who I meet at the dog park and they stand on one side, I stand on the other, or people I meet when I'm sitting out front of my RV here where they stop at the edge of the site and we've got like 20 feet of distance. So keeping the social distancing thing and everything else. So I'm basically self-isolated from everybody. I very rarely get within 6 feet of people these days. And it's kind of weird. It's very weird because I'm a very touchy-feely, huggy type person. I am craving human contact. I need a hug. Not a virtual hug. I need a physical hug. I need that physical contact. I'm missing that greatly. But anyway, can't do that right now. So what are you going to be doing to shake up your Saturday, to take it out of routine, to go do something different? Maybe you've been housebound for the last 7 or 8 weeks. Get in the car and go for a drive. Go for a drive out of the city. Go for a drive down to the beach if you're near a beach or a lake or a river. Just get out and go do something that you don't normally do on a Saturday. So have a super fantastic Have a super fantastic, sparkling, shake it up Saturday. I think I was trying to combine sparkle and shake. I don't know what that was going to come out as. Probably spackle. Have a super fantastic, sparkling, shake it up Saturday, and we will catch you guys later today. Hey, konera.